Part 2. Hey guys, it's your Uncle Mike, and this is part 2 of the Allie Carter story. Now before we go any further, if you didn't watch part 1 yet, stop right here and go check that out first. I don't want you getting lost or guessing how Allie ended up where she is, or who's who in this story. See, a lot of people been hitting me up asking, Uncle Mike, where's Allie? What happened to her? Is she safe? So I want to be real clear from the jump. I've never spoken to Allie Carter, never met her, never talked to her family, not even her stepmom. I'm just like y'all, watching these videos, hearing her words, hearing her stepmom's words, and hoping this young lady is okay.
I was trafficked, I was abused, I was beaten, I was raped, and I wasn't the only child in that family. And some people should be asking, where the hell are the rest of those kids?
Now what me and my team did, we pulled together all the clips, all the statements, everything we could find that came out of her mouth or her stepmom's mouth. And yeah, I added a little Uncle Mike flavor to the story to keep it moving and keep y'all locked in. I'm not adding any false facts. I ain't twisting nothing that didn't already come out their mouths. So with that being said, if you saw part 1, welcome back. And if you didn't, go check out part 1 first. You feel me? You know what to do. Let's get into it.
We had to drive about an hour to take our animals and stuff. We spent the day getting the house ready because we're leaving the area. When I say get the house ready, that means that we were getting anything of value out of the house. I was preparing the house like I expected somebody to burn it down or to trash it or to whatever. I don't know how far they intend to take this, but we needed to get all of the stuff out of our house today that mattered. So we got the important papers, our animals, and that kind of stuff.
Part 2A1, the early years when Allie still believed in the badge. Let's rewind time before all the viral clips, before the Diddy accusations, before she stood in front of that courthouse with her voice shaking, but her soul on fire. There was a little girl named Allie, just a kid, no different than your niece or your baby cousin. Back then, she believed the same thing most of us believed when we were young, that if you're in trouble, you call the police. Her mama told her that. Her teachers told her that. Even cartoons push that message. The good guys wear blue, the bad guys get cuffed. But for Allie, that fairy tale got shattered before she even had a chance to grow up. The first sirens, childhood interrupted. Allie didn't grow up in peace. She grew up in chaos, confusion, and contradictions. Her family looked stable on the outside. Neat little house, decent clothes, polite smiles for strangers. But behind closed doors, it was a war zone. Yelling, secrets, broken glass, and in the middle of it all, Allie. She remembers the first time she called the cops herself. She was 8 years old. Her mother was screaming, not her usual frustrated scream, but a blood-curdling one. Something had snapped. And Allie, with trembling fingers and a voice barely louder than a whisper, dialed 911. The dispatcher kept asking for her name. She just said, "Please come quick. Mommy needs help." And when they showed up, they didn't help. The blue wall begins to crack. That night, Allie learned a lesson nobody warned her about, because when the officers arrived, they weren't soft-spoken heroes. They were annoyed, dismissive, cold. They asked if anyone had a weapon. They looked at Allie's mom like she was just another angry woman who couldn't control her emotions. They asked more questions about who owned the house than they did about Allie's safety. And when Allie tried to speak, when she told them about the shouting, the pushing, the fear, one of them looked her dead in the eye and said, "Dear, little girls shouldn't get involved in grown folks' business." That line stayed with her for life. It wasn't just what he said, It was the way he said it. Like her pain didn't matter, like her fear was an inconvenience. That night, they didn't arrest anybody. They didn't even write a report. They just told her mama to calm down. And they left. And Allie, 8 years old, sitting on the floor of a house that no longer felt like home, realized something. Cops weren't there to save her. They were there to keep things quiet. The mask starts to slip. As she grew older, Allie kept hoping that maybe that night was just a fluke, but it wasn't. Because every time she saw those flashing red and blues again, it was the same story. A neighbor's abuse case got ignored. A teacher's call about a bruise went missing from the school files. Her friend, another girl from a broken home, tried to report being touched inappropriately. And they accused her of lying for attention. And with every encounter, Allie started to notice something. They didn't believe girls like her. Not poor girls, not traumatized girls, not the ones who didn't have perfect parents and neat backstories. The cops, the ones sworn to protect, had this unspoken rule. If your life already looked messy, your pain didn't count. So Allie stopped calling. She stopped hoping. She started internalizing. That middle school moment, the bait and switch. There's one moment she's talked about in her older videos, middle school, 6th or 7th grade. She had confided in a school counselor, told her everything she remembered from the night she was locked in that basement. Yes, that basement. And for a second, it felt like maybe someone believed her. The counselor nodded, took notes, called in backup. 2 days later, a detective came to the school. Allie was pulled from class. This time it was a woman. She smiled. She said, I'm just here to help you, sweetheart. Allie wanted to believe it. She wanted that so bad. But after the first 20 minutes of questions, that help turned into interrogation. Are you sure it really happened like that? Why didn't you say something sooner? Do you think maybe you were dreaming? And just like that, the hope crumbled. They didn't take her seriously. They didn't even ask for evidence. They were there to check a box, not uncover the truth. That day, Allie left school in silence. She told the counselor not to call them again. And from that moment on, her trust in the system was officially dead.
That's fine, but we don't consent to the search.
That's fine.
So we do not consent to the search.
You can still do a free air sniff.
That's fine, but we don't consent to the search.
That's fine.
So we can go.
No, canine. You can go, but the car can't go until the canine inspector has sniffed around the vehicle.
Even though we don't consent to the search, your dog is an officer, right? So we don't consent to your search.
The young survivor's mindset. Allie Carter didn't stop speaking out because she didn't care. She stopped because nobody cared when she did. So she adjusted. Like many survivors do, she learned how to read rooms. She could tell which adults were performative and which ones were real. She stopped looking for justice and started looking for survival. By the time she was 15, she could sniff out a fake ally from a mile away. The teacher who said, "You can talk to me anytime," but never followed up. The social worker who promised, "We'll get you help," but ghosted when things got political. The cop who took notes on a notepad that never made it into a case file. Allie knew the game, and the game was rigged, so she adapted. She fought her own battles. She started documenting everything. Names, faces, dates, even whispers. Because if nobody was going to protect her, she'd build her own armor.
There's no reason for me to get bit. That dog is nowhere near me.
Stand over here.
Excuse me, sir. Yeah, you run the dog around the free air. Sir, do you realize how crazy you're acting right now?
Just back
Do you?
up.
You're in my space. You're about to give me an anxiety attack,
Well, go
and I
stand,
want to
ma'am.
turn my car off.
Ma'am,
You're
just go
in
stand
my
over here.
face,
Ma'am,
sir. You're
ma'am,
in my face.
Ma'am, it's a police working case.
I
and
understand
we
that.
want you to be safe.
I understand that, but I don't need to be next to the vehicle. I want to turn my car off and grab my keys. I am sick of you guys bothering me. Do you understand that? I just want to turn my car off. Is that simple? Can I turn my car off? Can I turn my car off? It's free air around the car. No, I want to get my keys. You are in my car. You are in my car. I am sick of you guys. You know this is bullshit. There's no reason for that, dog. It's free air. You have harassed my mother, and now you hear yourself, and now you're pushing on me?
This is Uncle Mike speaking to the heart of the matter. You ever wonder why some people snap on cops? Why some folks don't flinch when they see blue lights behind them? It ain't just about hate, it's about history. Allie Carter didn't just wake up one day with distrust in her heart. It was built brick by brick, betrayal by betrayal. See, when you're a child and the very people you're taught to run to become the ones who gaslight your trauma, you don't lose faith overnight. You bleed out over years. It's not always the beatings that break you. Sometimes it's the silence. Sometimes it's the look on a cop's face when they decide you don't matter enough to protect. And Allie Carter, she matters. But the system never told her that. So now, when she speaks with fire in her voice, when she names names, when she refuses to stay silent, just know this didn't come out of nowhere. It came from survival.
Is it an alcohol sniffing dog? Because that's what we started with first.
Yeah, and then now we're talking about money. Is it a money sniffing dog?
Are you guys trying to change the story? Because you've changed the story on me.
I have not changed the story. Don't you do that?
I'm telling you exactly what we went through.
You can ask him.
Followed us.
We can replay this video for you if you like. We can shut one of these videos off and replay this video. You want to do that?
Part 2A2. When the badge becomes a weapon. By the time Allie Carter was in her late teens, she wasn't just distrustful of police. She was done. Done with their questions. Done with their silence. Done with pretending they were ever on her side. But the part that really broke her? It wasn't the indifference. It wasn't the dismissive attitudes. It was when she realized that some cops weren't just ignoring her pain. They were part of it. That's when the badge stopped being a symbol of safety and became a weapon. The night of the van, her breaking point. She never gave the exact date, but in several live streams you can feel the trauma just in her voice when she says, "That was the night I knew I couldn't call the police ever again. Not even if I was dying." She said she was trying to leave, not just leave the house. She meant leave the entire life. Run, vanish, rebuild somewhere else, somewhere safe. She had just enough money to make it a few miles. No plan, no shelter, just raw desperation. And she made it as far as the gas station parking lot before they caught up to her. It wasn't the abuser this time. It wasn't some stranger. It was a cop. One she had seen before. One who had smiled at her mother once. At first, he pretended to be helpful. "Everything all right, sweetheart? You lost? You need a ride back to the shelter?" She shook her head. She said she was fine. But he didn't leave. He told her to get in the back of the cruiser just to talk. Said he'd take her somewhere safe, but Allie had heard that tone before. She didn't get in. Instead, she backed away, and that's when things turned. He called for backup, told dispatch she was non-compliant and potentially in crisis. And within 10 minutes, she was surrounded. 2 more units, flashlights in her face, people watching from the gas station window. And then came the restraint. She wasn't violent, she wasn't armed, she was just scared. But they treated her like a threat. Slammed her onto the hood, zip-tied her wrist, threw her in the back without even reading her rights. And that was it. That was the moment Allie Carter stopped being a victim and became a number in a system that feeds off silence.
You to be safe.
I understand that, but I don't need to be next to the vehicle. I want to turn my car off and grab my keys. I am sick of you guys bothering me. Do you understand that? I just want to turn my car off. Is that simple? Can I turn my car off? Can I turn my car off? It's free air around the car. No, I want to get my keys. You are in my car. You are in my car. I am sick of you guys. You know this is bullshit. There's no reason for that, dog. It's free air. You have harassed my mother, and now do you hear yourself? And now you're pushing on me? Is this what you're gonna do?
Nobody's touching you, but you do need to back away from the vehicle for a minute.
Do you have anxiety? I want to get my. Can I get my keys, sir?
Man, we just need you to
Can you back up? Can I get my keys first?
For the canine officer and the
I
dog.
understand that.
Sit right here and watch.
Okay, thank you then. Can you guys please back off me? I just want to get my keys out of my car. I will watch. I will be glad to watch, but you are pushing me, looking at my GPS. Why are you looking at my phones?
I'm not looking.
You looked into my car at my phone.
I'm making sure it's safe.
Right there.
There's a phone right there.
Okay, man, but we need you to
Right, you know where it is. Stop playing stupid.
Will you just go stand over here, ma'am?
You're being so ignorant. Can I get my keys, please? No. That's all I'm
I
asking
think the
you.
mother should be coming in by
Why
now.
not? It's free air. You're not going in my vehicle. You do not
Where's
have
the
the
mother?
consent
Come
to
on,
that.
Mom. Support her.
Okay, thank you.
I want your daughter to be safe.
Oh my God, you're crowding me. I just want my keys to my car.
Damn keys.
Can I just get my keys? If you want to search the car, let me get my keys.
She's having a fucking.
Can I get my keys?
You guys are a fucking.
Can I get, you see this? You guys see this, and I know you're standing there, you see this.
Man, please come
There's
over
no
here and
reason
get
for
these
this. I want to get my keys. That's it. That's all I want to do.
You are not
I don't
getting in
need
the
to
vehicle.
get in the vehicle. I just want to get my
Back up.
keys. Why is that hard?
Just back up, man.
Why is that hard to get my keys? Can you ask him to move,
Because I
please?
don't know you. I've never met you before.
Okay,
I don't know what
and
you're trying
neither
to get
can
out of the vehicle.
I. Just want my keys. I'm telling you that. You can watch me get them. Why are you guys acting crazy? We have given you the permission to search our car. We have given you the permission to the free air. No, not to search our car, but to the free air around our car. Now you're in my car around my
You
phone.
just step back away from the vehicle.
Can I pull my phones down?
We don't want
The dog is all the way over there. Why would he bite me?
Because he's got to go around.
Okay, can I get my keys and grab my phones?
Done, and you guys could have potentially already been on your.
I understand that. Can I get my keys
No, you cannot.
and grab my phones?
You cannot.
My personal information is showing up on that screen right now, and I don't want him to see it. That's all I'm saying to you. That's my personal information. Okay, so step back. Let me grab my keys. It's that simple. You can watch me do it.
No, just step
Watch
back.
me do it. You're an officer.
Step back.
That's it. That's all I'm
These
saying to you.
police officers has
Giving you-
Is
clearly
this a
drawn
black
the line
situation?
on these keys.
Please step back. What did you say?
Are you kidding me right now?
What happens when you report the powerful? Let's be real, there's a different type of fear that creeps in when the people you're reporting have power. Not neighborhood thugs, not a creepy uncle. We're talking about men with lawyers, men with money, men who know people in high places, including law enforcement. That's where Allie's story gets dark, because the moment she started naming names, real names, some of them very well known, that's when she says things got worse. We're talking about police reports going missing from the system, recordings being deleted, officers telling her it's not smart to go around making accusations like that. They didn't say she was lying, they said it was dangerous to talk. There's a difference. One cop allegedly told her straight out, "You have no idea who you're messing with." And maybe he thought that would scare her silent, but instead, it set her off. I got receipts. Why Allie took it public. She tried to do it the right way. File a report, name the incident, show the bruises, bring a witness. But the system kept folding. The files kept getting lost. The meetings were postponed, then canceled, then erased. So she made a decision. If they won't listen in private, she'll shout it in public. That's when the viral video started. Her voice, shaky, raw, barely above a whisper, but packed with truth. She didn't just talk about what happened. She named dates. She pointed fingers. She backed it with details too specific to be made up. And the internet, it listened, But the system, it retaliated. After she went public, Allie says she started noticing strange things. Cars parked outside her apartment, not marked cruisers, but always the same 2 or 3. Phones clicking mid-call, emails being delayed, people suddenly watching her TikToks who never followed her before. She started keeping her blinds closed, moved apartments more than once, stopped using certain apps altogether. And when she did report this stalking behavior to local police, they brushed it off, said she was paranoid, told her, maybe you should stop posting videos if you feel unsafe. Let that sink in. Instead of protecting her, they suggested she be quiet. The same pattern over and over again. The threat at the station. One of the final straws was what happened when she tried one last time to file a full statement. Not just notes, not just incident logs. She wanted a full notarized affidavit placed on record. And she says, when she walked into that precinct, the energy shifted. At first, the desk officer was polite, but when they heard the name Sean Combs in her statement, everything froze. She was told to wait, then wait some more. After 45 minutes, she was told she couldn't file it that day. No reason, just come back later. But before she left, one of the higher-ups leaned in and said, "You've made a lot of noise. That noise could get you hurt. Be careful who you accuse." That wasn't advice, that was a warning. And that's when she stopped going to police altogether.
Back up, man.
Why is that hard to get my keys? Can you ask him to move, please?
I don't know you. I've never met you before.
Okay,
I don't know what
and
you're trying
neither
to get
can
out of the
I.
video.
Just want my keys. I'm telling you that. You can watch me get them. Why are you guys acting crazy? We have given you the permission to search our car. We have given you the permission to the free air. No, not to search our car, but to the free air around our car. Now you're in my car, around my
You
phone.
to step back away from the vehicle.
Can I pull my phones down?
We don't want
The dog is all the way over there. Why would he bite me?
Because he's got to go around.
Okay, can I get my keys and grab my phones?
Uncle Mike's real talk, when the streets know what the system hides. Let me tell you something from the gut. The reason so many survivors take to the internet instead of courtrooms, because the streets believe you faster than the system ever will. That's what Allie figured out. She didn't want to go viral. She wanted to be safe. She wanted to be believed. But when you're up against money and muscle, truth don't matter unless you scream it loud enough. So she did. And yeah, some folks called her crazy. Some said clout chaser. Some said that girl need help. But here's the twist. Even the ones who doubted her never disproved her because the details were too sharp. The pattern's too real and the system too silent when trust becomes survival instinct. So why did Allie Carter stop trusting cops? Because she gave them every chance. And every time, they chose politics over protection. They chose quiet over truth. They chose power over people. Allie Carter ain't just another name in the headlines. She's the cautionary tale. She's the reason so many girls document everything, post everything, record everything. Because the badge that was supposed to protect them don't always show up when the cameras are off. And if you've been where she's been, if you've ever screamed for help and got gaslit instead, then you already know why she walked away from the badge. Not out of hate, out of survival.
Cassie Ventura and another escort has testified, and somebody mentioned the buffet that was going on with the children. There's multiple kids that were set on the table, like party favors. When I first talked about this, everybody thought it was it's just me. And now we're seeing it on the case. And everybody's like, okay, Allie needs to get on the stand and talk. That's the people's opinion.
That's two-dimensional thinking.
That's not what's happening. Do you understand what I'm saying? Before, the people weren't hearing what I was trying to tell you. Before, the people weren't understanding that, hey, this rapper that is a legacy, a man's idol, a man's perspective, and the way that a man is supposed to act. There's no way that he could be doing these things.
Why Ali Carter trusted TikTok more than testimony. The court system was supposed to save her, but it didn't. Lawyers talked in circles, judges delayed, cops ignored. So where did Ali Carter turn? Not to another lawyer, not to a shelter, not to a therapist. She turned on her camera, opened TikTok, and hit record. Because sometimes the truth don't echo in a courtroom. Sometimes it finds its fire in the comment section. The first upload, a whisper into the storm. It wasn't a viral moment. It wasn't planned. It wasn't perfect. Her first video was shaky. Her voice cracked halfway through. You could hear the fear under every sentence, but she posted it anyway. Why? Because she had nowhere else left to go. Ali's real-life voice was being suppressed. Her case paperwork had gone missing. Lawyers were brushing her off unless she paid them tens of thousands. And the cops? We already know how they treated her. So TikTok became her witness. Her phone became the courtroom. Real talk. Why TikTok felt safer than the law. Let me break this down like I'm talking to my little cousin. When you walk into a courthouse, the room decides who matters before you open your mouth. Your clothes, your name, your past, your income, even your zip code. But on TikTok, you hit record, you speak, and for a few seconds, it's just you and the world. No filters, no fees, no forms. That's why Ali kept going. Not because she wanted views, because she finally felt heard. When the comments become therapy. The moment Ali's first video hit 5,000 views, something shifted. Strangers started commenting things like, "This happened to me too. Keep speaking. We believe you. I'm so sorry they didn't help you. You're not crazy." And for the first time in years, Ali didn't feel alone. TikTok didn't judge her for her past, didn't tell her she was too emotional, didn't ask, "Are you sure?" Every 5 seconds, it just listened and responded. And that connection was more than she'd ever gotten from a badge or a courtroom. They tried to silence her again. Now, don't get it twisted. The system saw her. Once she started gaining traction, once her videos started pulling in hundreds of thousands of views, that's when the pressure came back. Suddenly, her videos were flagged. Certain clips got removed. Shadow bans started happening. Somebody was trying to push her back into silence, but this time, Ali knew the game. She started backing up her videos, posting on multiple platforms, uploading in the middle of the night to avoid detection, using coded language to talk about trauma without triggering bans. By now, Ali Carter wasn't just speaking out. She was building a movement. And every person who commented, "Did this happen to me too?" That was another brick in the wall of truth she was stacking. Uncle Mike's commentary, when the algorithm saves lives. Let's pause right there. We talk a lot of trash about algorithms, right? But sometimes the algorithm is the only one listening. Ali ain't the first to realize this, and she won't be the last. Because in a world where courts delay justice and cops lose evidence and social workers forget to follow up, sometimes a 60-second TikTok can do what a 60-page affidavit can't. Make people believe you. That belief is powerful. That belief gets retweeted. That belief becomes noise. And noise, that's what the system fears most.
CPS wasn't listening. My social workers knew and was in on it. They would tell me to stop telling people. People were making fake court orders for my mom. That was the time where I was like, it's either life or death right here. And in the next time that I have to try to make this decision, I'm probably going to be somewhere where I can't get out. So I ran. I disappeared from Child Protective Services government custody for a year straight. By less than a few weeks, because of my last name and because of the elite ties that I have. They took me out of the missing child's network system, and removed me from any Amber Alerts or any type of system to tell anybody that I was missing. But CPS still collected money for me. There were fake FBI that were sent out to torment my mom, to mess with people that I knew of that my pimp seen me with, because he made it. There were fake FBI that came out to torment my mom because my pimp made it in a way that he knew who I was hanging around. He knew what I was doing at school. He knew all those things. But I had to be safe, and I can't say exactly how I disappeared. It would incriminate a few really, really, really good people, because they had to do what they had to do to make sure that I'm still sitting here right now.
From followers to family. Over time, Allie's page became more than a platform. It became a lifeline. She connected with other survivors, ex-victims, activists, even people who used to work inside the system and were now speaking out. She built a community, not one built on pity, but on power. Every comment was like a "me too." Every share was another person saying, "I got your back." Every like, that was another silent nod of solidarity. And when you're someone like Allie, someone who's been ignored, dismissed, mishandled, those silent nods matter more than any courtroom clap. Why she never looked back. To this day, Allie Carter refuses to let the system define her narrative. She posts, she speaks, she goes live, even when trolls show up, even when people accuse her of chasing fame, even when people say, if it was real, why didn't you just go to the cops? She just shakes her head, because that question, that's the language of people who've never been through hell. That's the voice of privilege, not pain. Allie's answer is simple. I did go to the cops. They didn't help. Tik Tok did. And she ain't wrong. What happens next? Allie's digital voice became louder than any courtroom, but that came with a cost. In the next part, we'll talk about the retaliation she faced for speaking out, how her videos caught the attention of celebrities and activists, why some people tried to use her pain for their own clout, and the moment TikTok turned from therapy to battlefield, because when your voice gets too loud, some people start trying to take it from you. But Allie, she ain't backing down.
I said, hey, nobody tells on Diddy. And everybody's like, nah, she crazy. It's just talking now. In that affidavit, there was a buffet. They're calling it a buffet. You can relate that to what I'm trying to tell you. There was food on the table. I was told by my pimp, don't eat the food. Don't even dare. It's not real. And on top of that, you'll be sick. And we ain't got time for that, because if you start throwing up everywhere, then you're going to have the jobs that we have for the night. So just don't eat. Got it. Right? Cassie Ventura, I don't know if I would have it right to say, but I think it was Dawn Richards, Cassie Ventura, and another escort has testified. And somebody mentioned the buffet that was going on with the children. There's multiple kids that were set on the table, like party favors. When I first talked about this, everybody thought it was it's just me. And now we're seeing it on the case. And everybody's like, okay, Allie needs to get on the stand and talk.
Part 2B2. The price of going viral, Allie Carter. Carter lit a match when she posted that first video. What she didn't expect was how fast the fire would spread. See, telling the truth on the internet, that comes with a price. And when your truth threatens power, that price gets steep. When the world starts watching Allie's videos, weren't just going viral, they were breaking through the noise. Millions of views, comment sections overflowing, people tagging celebrities, people tagging news outlets, people tagging lawyers. And at first, Allie thought that was a good thing, Because now people cared. Now the world was watching. But there's a catch with going viral. The more people watching you, the more people watching you. The support that wasn't support. Let's talk about the fake allies. Because the moment Allie got traction, the vultures started circling. Self-proclaimed advocates sliding into her DMs. YouTubers asking for interviews with headlines already written. Influencers who wanted her trauma in exchange for clout. They didn't want to help. They wanted her pain on their platform. One woman promised to get her a lawyer. Never did. Another man said he'd raise money for her housing. Disappeared with the cash. A few even tried to rewrite her story to make it more marketable. That's when Allie realized not everyone cheering for you wants you to win. Some just want front row seats to your suffering. Backlash in real time. Then came the backlash. Not from the system, not from the cops, from regular people. The same ones who said, "We believe you" on Monday were calling her a liar by Friday. They dissected her appearance, zoomed in on her background, said things like, "Why she always wearing a bonnet? She looks too calm to be a victim. She just wants attention." That's the internet, right? One minute they love you, the next minute they turn you into content. But for Allie, it wasn't just shade, it was triggering, because this wasn't a show to her, it was survival. And watching strangers mock her trauma, that reopened wounds the system never helped her heal.
This man owns a ring. Sean Combs is the leader of a ring.